If you don't know us, we are Austin. We're a Christian folk duo living in the Appalachian Mountains. We both upload music on Spotify. I'm Ian Austin, and she's Heather Suzanne on Spotify. We wanted to tell you guys about how we met.
Yeah, so I'll start because the story kind of starts with me. So back in August of 2023, I was camping with my mom for my birthday, and I woke up early one morning, and before she woke up, and so I was just laying there praying and kind of processing on the year prior and the year ahead, and out of nowhere, I felt like something in my spirit said, ask me for a husband for your birthday. And I was like, what? This is so weird and random, and like, Lord, was that you, or was that myself, or was that something else? I'm so confused. I knew that the thought didn't really originate from me. So I was like, okay, Lord, was that you? And then he made a story pop up in my mind about my grandmother who had asked, well, she had struggled with some infertility issues, and one year on Christmas Eve, she was just sitting in the living room by herself, and she was like, Lord, I would really love a baby under the tree next Christmas. And then she came home that next Christmas with her first daughter.
And a baby literally just appeared under the tree. No, I'm just kidding.
No, but she came home from the hospital on Christmas Eve, which, so then I felt like that was kind of confirmation, but I still wasn't sure. So really I spent that whole next year wrestling with it because I didn't want to put words in God's mouth, and also it was a very sensitive thing, and I didn't want to be let down if it didn't happen. And I especially didn't want to blame God if it didn't happen. So yeah, I took it with a grain of salt, but I prayed over it and wrestled with it all year. And as I prayed over it more, I came to the understanding that I wasn't going to get married on my birthday. I wasn't even going to get engaged, but I had this understanding that God was going to bring the man I was going to marry into my life around my birthday. So.
And it happened.
Yeah, it did.
Happened. But we became acquainted with each other before then.
Yeah.
So how she found out I was a human being that existed was I was posting things on Instagram advertising my music. Ooh, there's a bug. And I boosted the post so it just got a lot more traction, and she was one of the people that ran across it. And she was interested for a few reasons. One of them was she says, oh, he's such a cute boy, which, no, handsome man.
Right.
But she has this indie folk Christian playlist on Spotify that's gotten a lot of traction, so she's like constantly looking for artists to add to that, and I was one of them.
Yeah.
And she messaged me and said, hey, I love your music, and thank you for writing Christian music, and I added it to the playlist. I hope it helps. And I was like, cool. And I was flattered. That, girl likes my music. That's pretty cool. Did you have something you want to say?
No.
Okay. And yeah, but then it just kind of dropped there. It was just, we had a few paragraphs of DMs on Instagram, just like, hey, what kind of threw her off was I was 22 at the time. And
I was 26. So I was like,
yeah, and
you are a baby.
And I didn't have a beard either, so
Yeah.
I looked younger. So it was kind of a stretch. But then, yeah, we both, I think, just kind of dropped it. Nothing really. But later, I reached out to her because I was trying to get music production clients.
This was in like July of 2024.
So I was doing carpentry work in Jackson Hole, Wyoming, and I was like, you know what? I'm tired of this, and if I can get enough clients, I can quit carpentry. So she was one of the people I reached out to because I knew she was a Christian folk artist. And what'd you say to me?
Well, I asked him his pricing just to be polite because I was already working with somebody in my hometown in person, and I was like, why would I go with somebody literally across the country? I didn't even know how that would work. Yeah, that's right. Anyways, but I was like, okay, I'll be polite and I'll ask him his pricing. I even took some time. I think I took like a day to even reply to him. And then he told me his price, and I was like, that is so expensive, which actually it's not that expensive it's actually really cheap for producing, but I didn't have a lot of references to go off of. I just knew how much I was being charged, and I knew that was more than what I was being charged with the guy that I was working with in my hometown. So I told him no.
She told me no. And
it ended there.
Kind of ended there, but they always come back around. She came crawling back to me.
That's right.
And realized she had made a huge mistake.
Whatever.
Basically what happened was her producer increased his prices, so then she realized I was the better deal. And she had a birthday coming up, which was when that magical person was supposed to come into her life. Tell us what was going through your mind then.
Well, okay, so my birthday was coming up, and my brother had given me money to get a new mic. And as I'm thinking about producing and wanting to release more music and trying to think, okay, well, how can I make this cheaper on myself? I was like, I want to buy my own nice vocal mic so I can record vocals at home. And that will save me a little bit of extra money. So I was looking around at mics, and I was looking at this one specific mic, the Shure
SM7B. It's like the mic everyone uses for podcasts.
Yeah. And it's also really popular in the worship sphere as well. And so I had seen in his videos, in his reels and things, that he had that mic. And so I was like, well, I heard really mixed reviews on it. So I wanted to talk to somebody who had this mic, used this mic, and would be able to tell me if it was worth it, because it's a lot of money.
Probably had some ulterior motives too, right?
Well, I did have it in the back of my mind.
Yeah, so she reached out to me, and I was pretty helpful, right?
You were so
sent
helpful.
A lot of paragraphs.
You were so sweet.
Yes, that's right. And I was trying to be a nice guy, and it led to. So I told her about the mic, but then I was like, I just moved from Wyoming to Utah to be a worship leader at a church. And also I'm working part-time at Amazon doing an Amazon delivery, and I listen to theology podcasts, or I listen to podcasts, and she was like, oh, what podcasts do you listen to?
Yeah, and what led to that conversation, like that whole conversation to begin with, was I brought up wanting to hire him. Because I was like, hey, by the way, I realized that, you would be the better deal, so could we work on a song together?
Yeah, so that conversation was kind of business, and then we started talking about theology, and we got in kind of a debate.
Yeah,
we got a
very long debate
on Instagram, and I was like, "No, you've never said a context."
I kind of was.
Yeah,
I will admit.
So basically, I got the gig, but not the girl yet. I didn't get the girl yet, but we started. But I was really adamant on, no, I want us to have a pre-production call, talk about the song. You need to direct me how I need to produce it and stuff. That's pretty typical. But I was like, I want to have a FaceTime, because I want to, it to be more of a deep connection with her. I wanted to see her. I want her to see me.
Yeah, which excited and also terrified me. I'm very introverted.
Yeah.
And so
we started the call, and she was like a deer in the headlights.
Yeah. Well, because we got in the car, and I was like, oh, he's so handsome.
And so she was just like, hi. It was just I was like, oh.
I was very bashful.
I was just kind of I don't even know if I'm into her. She is so quiet.
Too quiet.
And but then we the first call was strictly business. The first part of the call, we were just like, hey, this is what to do. But then we started talking about life dreams, and I don't even know how we got there.
Yeah, well, he asked me if I wanted to do full-time music for a living. And I paused because I was like, oh, I don't know if I should tell him what my actual dream is, because he might think it's weird, because it might sound like I'm trying to come on to him when I'm not. But then I was like, well, let's just be truthful. Let's just be honest. So I told him I don't want to do music full-time, but my dream would be to marry another Christian folk artist so that him and I could do music together, and I could be a stay-at-home mom.
Yeah. Let's just put this in perspective. I was looking for a Christian folk woman to marry. And I was also looking for one that wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. So once I heard that, I was like, this is crazy. Like, Lord, I've been praying for this for, like a year, and Lord, you're answering my prayer. But I didn't show my cards. That was pretty cool.
No,
I was just like,
I didn't know at all.
I was like, I want to do music for a living and then also help at a church. And I didn't mention a spouse.
No. So I was like, he doesn't want to get married?
So she was thinking like, he's like celibate.
Yeah, he doesn't want a family. He
wants to be celibate the rest of his life. But no, I was just, I just didn't want to show you yet. But yeah, we ended that call, and it was just like, oh, this is crazy. Like, I can't believe
it. It was like a 2.5 hour call. We talked a long time.
We talked about a lot more than music production.
Yeah. And I went into work the next morning, and I told my coworkers, I was like, I am like stargazed or whatever by this guy, and I don't know if he does this with every client.
I do this with every client,
or what.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. And then what happened was I was in this recording, or I was in this like Christian folk like FaceTime group with this guy named Albert Keever and William Toll. And we just like would meet every once in a while and talk about music and stuff. Mm-hmm. But then Will invited her randomly to the group chat, which is like so random.
I had never even really heard of Will before that point.
And then it was just kind of like a get to know you chat. And it was like, we had a FaceTime and it was like, let's share testimonies. But then I had to leave early.
Yeah, so he told his testimony. Mm-hmm. Someone else told theirs, and then we got to meet, and as soon as I started, Ian was like, guys, I'm sorry, but I gotta go. I was like,
yeah. But then I texted her after, like, so how'd the call go? And it was like, I don't even remember, but she was like, in your mind, you were like, oh, I really wanted to tell my testimony. Uh-huh. And then after a while, you were like, you felt like, oh, like I can just ask him if I can tell him.
Yeah, if he would want to hear it.
So, yeah, we had another call. She shared her testimony. That was another, 2-hour call. And it was,
2 or 3.
We talked about convictions.
Oh, yeah.
We went right to it.
Yeah.
And it was just
and we found we shared a lot of the same convictions.
It was crazy, yeah.
Yeah.
And after that, you were like, I don't know where he stands. Uh-huh. Does he just see us as friends? Like, am I just a client to him kind of thing?
Yeah. And, does he still do this with every client?
Yes. And then I was just like, man, I gotta lock this girl down. Like, someone is gonna snatch her, and I've gotta get on this thing. I cannot rest. Well, I could sleep, but it was just like, I gotta do something about this. Yeah. It was. And then you were praying, like, Lord, just like help him to have clarity with me. I don't want him to lead me on.
Yeah.
And so you prayed.
Yeah, I prayed. I was like, Lord, lay on his heart to ask me for another FaceTime to clear the air. So I either want him to tell me that, like, we're just friends. I'm sorry, this has gone too far. We're just, like, client-producer kind of thing. Or I want to pursue you with the intention of marriage. Mm-hmm. That's what I wanted. And so it was like a Wednesday night. The last thing I prayed before I fell asleep was, Lord, put it on his heart to ask for another FaceTime if it be your will. Mm-hmm. I woke up the next morning to a text from him asking for a FaceTime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. And so we had the FaceTime, and a few minutes into it, I was just like, okay, I need you to just like listen to me for 3 minutes. I just need to tell you something. And
I'm like, okay, here it goes. Like, this is it. This is the moment.
And I was, okay, just like some context for this. My parents, like, I talked to them about it, and they were like, kind of like, no, you should like be friends first. Like, don't come out of the gate and like tell her everything. You should just like kind of ease into it. But then I was like, no, I'm not doing that. And so in the FaceTime, I was just like, okay, I'm looking for a spouse. And you're everything I'm looking for. What do you think?
And honestly,
and then she was like this. She was like,
well, I was like,
And I was like, man, I think she just realized she led me on super hard.
No, I had that reaction because honestly, I was preparing myself for him to say, like, I'm sorry, this has gone too far. I had been single for 5 years. I hadn't even been pursued by anybody. And so I was really expecting him to shut it down. And for I've never had a man say that to me. So I was like, is this real? Is this actually happening? I felt like I couldn't even breathe. So he started to like apologize, and I was like, no, it's all good. I just can't breathe. Let me just breathe for a minute.
Starstruck.
Yeah. And then I proceeded to tell him that I felt the exact same way about him. And then the interrogation started.
We went into full interview mode. It was like, where are you at on this?
Yes.
What do you believe on this thing? And it was like,
tell me what you think the gospel is.
Oh, I was so adamant on
gender
that.
roles. And
No, because I was like, what is the gospel? And if our kids lack assurance of salvation, and they're like, Mommy, I don't know if I'm saved, like, what are you going to tell them? Are you going to tell them are you going to tell them you have to do works? Or are you going to tell them what the Bible says? Are you going to tell them to believe?
Yeah.
Are you going to look and so I was just like, so adamant on that, because I was like, I don't want to go to work and then come home and like I realized my wife is like teaching my kids you're saved by works.
Yeah. That's important.
But we were, her grandma was funny. Her grandma was like, you guys can have fun too. You don't just have to have like theological talks.
Yeah, but we had fun in the process.
We had fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
it was good. We didn't want to waste time. We just wanted to get down to it.
Yeah, that's right. What was crazy was I realized I was going to a pastor's conference like 2 weeks after that or something in Raleigh, which is
the state where I live.
So 2 hours away from Boone, which is where she's from. And so I got to see her for the first time after that, and we started dating. So 2 weeks later, it was the first time seeing each other in person.
Yeah.
But then, how were you feeling when I asked you?
Extremely anxious. Extremely.
I wonder why.
Yeah. And so I was like, oh, am I feeling this way because I'm not supposed to do this? Is the Lord trying to tell me something? And I think that we can get our feelings and emotions mixed up with the Lord's voice, and I don't think it's always accurate. But I was like, but I cannot pass this guy up. He is everything that I've prayed for in a husband. Literally to the T. To the fact that he doesn't like sports.
No, like, she had things like, there's obviously, like, the conviction things you shouldn't settle on. Like, is he a Christian? He's a strong believer? Like, things like that.
Yeah, can be a strong leader and all this stuff. But
she had things like, oh, Lord, I would love if he did carpentry.
Yeah.
Oh, I'd love if he, like, and then you had like a deal breaker kind of. It was like, he can't watch sports.
I didn't want a home atmosphere that was ruled by a sports game. If football was on or whatever. Yeah. Yeah. So. Honestly, I'd be okay if we never even had TV. So.
Yeah.
I was adamant about that.
And I'm glad I happened to line up with all your things.
The Lord could have changed my heart, though.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, and then we got engaged the third time we saw each other in person, and then we got married the fifth time. The fifth time.
Yep. So that was the span of 6 months, but we FaceTimed a lot.
You have a bug on you. Oh, get him. Oh, he flew right back on you.
Sorry.
Okay.
I don't know why. I apologize.
Apologize to the bug.
So.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, we would. I think Wednesdays and Sundays were our long FaceTime days, where we would plan like 2 or 3 hours to FaceTime each other, and then the rest of the days we at least had a 15-minute phone call.
Yeah, but probably 95% of our relationship up until we got married was FaceTime. It was. And it was always a little awkward when we met each other in person again. It was like we would get really comfortable on FaceTime, but then it was we had this thing where it was like the second time we saw each other, so she flew out to Utah to see me, and this was like a few weeks after we started dating, but we had this thing. It was like, okay, we're allowed to we're just like It's like that kiss on the forehead thing.
Yeah, kiss on the forehead and hold hands.
And I was so stressed out about that. I was like, I don't know how to like kiss someone on the forehead. Do I like grab her head? Like, it was so awkward. I was so overthinking it.
He was, yeah.
And then that was going to be the first time we said, I love you.
Yeah.
Because we kept on flirting
Hinting.
around it of being like, oh, I'm more than like you, or, you know.
I like you.
I like you.
We were like teenagers.
It was like, yeah. But then it was just...
Because we wanted to wait till we were in person.
But there was just so much anticipation. It was just kind of awkward. Because it's like, as soon as I picked her up from the airport, it was like, okay, when are we going to say it? Like, this thing has been brewing for 2 weeks, you know? But, I mean, we got through that.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
And then...
It got to the point where I did have to look at him and I said, you have permission to hold my hand at any time. You do not have to ask.
Because I'd be like...
Every time you want to hold my hand.
Can I hold your
hand? And that definitely helped him a lot. I think that helped unlock you being more comfortable.
Well, you were starting to rethink it, like that first night. It was just awkward. And then you were like, oh man, this isn't working.
Because we had also already started talking about engagement and marriage. And I was like, if we can't even literally be around each other without being so painfully awkward, this is not going to work.
Yeah.
But we passed that hump on that trip.
Mm-hmm. And then, so we started talking. So we had that first FaceTime in September.
Yeah. And
then we got married.
Got engaged. Well, yeah. So we had our first FaceTime in September. Mm-hmm. Started dating at the end of October. Mm-hmm. And then got engaged in December. And got married in March.
And now we've been married for
6 months.
6 months.
Yeah.
And we just moved to Boone, North Carolina from Utah.
Yeah, so back where I was living.
And yeah. Do we just want to end it there? Yeah, so that's our story. It's crazy because like we both were kind of thinking we had to settle in like things that we wanted.
Because people would tell, at least me, that they would say, you're expecting too much of a man. You're never going to find a man who loves Jesus, has a good sense of humor, can do music, is folksy, has the same kind of life goals and vision as you, and doesn't like sports, and is a carpenter. That's too much.
Yeah.
Exhibit A, people.
And then I was just thinking like, you know, I can't settle on like, I'm going to marry a godly woman, and I want us to be in enough agreement theologically and sort of convictions-wise, but just other things like my preferences, I was willing to settle on that. But like when I met her, it's like she's best of both worlds. She is, you know, godly and just loves the Lord so much, and there's just so many like Christ-like attributes I admire in her. But then also she's like the preference-wise, it's like does the same exact music as me. I love her voice. I love her personality. I love how she looks, and it's just like all these things, and it's like, Lord, this is like too good to be true. And the whole like how when we were dating, I felt like I was on a plane without like a boarding pass.
Yes, me too.
I was like, Lord, are you gonna actually let me land the plane kind of thing?
Are we gonna get away with this?
Yeah.
Like the Lord's actually allowing this to happen? This is nuts.
Yeah, it was crazy. And okay, one last thing. I hope this is encouragement to anyone that's single. My parents, you know, I don't necessarily think they were wrong in saying this, but they were like, because I would spend almost all my free time recording music just in my studio doing stuff. And they were like, Ian, you got to get out and meet people. Like, you're not going to meet someone spending
sitting in your room
like 6 hours in your studio.
Yeah.
And so we're both that way.
Yeah. On the flip side, people were telling me you should get out more. You should join more single groups, get involved with more people your age. I'm an old soul, so I love spending time with older people. And I actually spent a lot of time with my grandmother because she lived right next door. So I would go home and hang out with her. Or on Saturdays, I would go out with her, or I'd come visit my mom. And so I was like, I don't want to get out more. That's just not my personality.
Yeah, and I said to my parents, I was like, and I don't even know if this is correct, but I was like, if I was on a desert island and the Lord wanted me to be married, if he wanted me to be married, he would like make a woman crash on the island and then I'd get married. Like,
and that was kind of my mentality too. I was like, if it's going to happen, the Lord's it's going to happen. I'm not worried about it. I wasn't worried about it.
But what happened for us was like we were doing our thing. Like we weren't going out there like, oh, I'm going to go to this event so I can meet a girl.
Yeah.
It was more like I'm just doing my thing, and then the opportunity like kind of plopped in my lap.
Yeah.
Like there was things where I was like, oh, is this happening? Like me asking for the FaceTime. I think that's me kind of like making a step.
Like pursuing it, yeah.
But like in terms of like she just happens, like it's kind of like an ordinary thing where it did happen, but it's like it's extraordinary all the things that had to line up for like it to line up with our desires and convictions and all these things to where like I just felt like the Lord just plopped in my lap and all I had to do is accept it.
Yeah.
And so hopefully that's an encouragement. And I just think there's so many things in life that are like that where we're stressing out, how do I make it work? How do I make it work? And it's like, God, if he wants you to do something, he's going to make it clear what you need to do. And sometimes that's just waiting.
Yeah. Yeah, and being faithful with where you are and stewarding what you have and trusting that he'll lead you to the next season when it's his time.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Well, if you made it this far, you are a hardcore fan, or you're one of our family members.
Yeah.
Hi, Mom.
Yeah.
But thank you so much. We're planning on doing more videos like this so you get to know us more. And see ya.
See ya.